Hey YouTube, here's Heiko down in my garage. I haven't made a YouTube video in a while. I'm actually working on one that's probably going to turn into like a 1 or 2 part kind of situation. I've had a bunch of things to do down here. My motorcycle needed new tires, and at the same time I realized that my front wheel bearings are all toast. So then they had to be ordered and replaced, and then I wanted to do a proper adjustment of the preload of those bearings, and there are different methods out there, and I wanted to use a specific one, so I had to have some tools made for that, and then went through that, and it's all on camera. I just haven't gotten around to editing it and actually putting it out there. I don't want to bore you guys either, so I don't want to make it super long video. But right now, I'm just going to make a quick one here. So as I just told you, my bike got new tires. I got new front bearings and rear bearings. And for a little while, my left fork tube had a slight seeping leak from the bottom of the fork slider. I finally got this sealed up. And now I don't know if I still have the proper amount of fork oil in there. I just rebuilt the forks not too long ago, so there's fresh oil in there. I just had this slight seep. And so I think that maybe we're not at the proper level anymore. Snowbum, Robert Fleischer, he actually describes on his webpage the proper measuring procedure of your fork oil. So you don't have to drain out and then refill to make sure that it's properly filled. You can also test or measure if your forks are filled to the proper level. That's 434 millimeters or 17¼ inches. Not 100% sure. I'm only sure on the millimeters. So 434 millimeters is for /5, /6, and /7 up to 1977. And then he gives a couple other measurements where you can actually measure the oil level from the top of the damper mechanism in there. We're going to do the one that goes from the top of the fork tube into it, and at 434 we want to find oil. So I'm going to take you through it with me. It's going to be a really simple one. I have all the tools already laid out. Let me turn the camera around, then I'm going to show you all the things that I've worked on in the last couple weeks, and then we're going to get testing here. Yeah, my garage looks like a bomb went off in here. So my motorcycle was out of commission for like 2.5 weeks, and that had to do with ordering bearings and bushings and 3 different vendors, and then I got the wrong bearings, and then I had to exchange them, and it was kind of a disaster. The tires were sitting here. Then my balancing stent that's still sitting there wasn't working right. It's one of those cheapy ones from Harbor Freight. The axle is too thin, so it's not properly centered in the wheel. Then I had to get a machinist to make me a bushing that now centers it properly in the wheel to be able to balance my wheels. So now I have IRC GS11 tires. They are kind of like a classical design, profile design, front and rear. I'm going to try those out. And yeah, and then the whole thing with the wheel bearings. And at the same time, a friend gave me a new toy, which is this mini lathe here. This is a Craftsman from the 1950s. And it was kind of working, but not really well. And the whole belt drive situation here was all kind of strange. This is a bench top model, so you mount it on a bench or on this tool stand here, and they kind of had it put together kind of funky. So I decided to go through it, put new belts on it, and then kind of realign everything and new pulleys, and so this is still going. If I would have had this up and running, my wheel bearing project probably would have gone a little faster. For this one method of adjusting the preload on your tapered roller bearings on an airhead, I had to get these bushings made to do a certain test procedure that Snowbum outlines on his webpage. So, and now we're just gonna test for a proper fill level of my forks. Like I said, I just had them apart. The problem was those /6 fork sliders, they have a plug at the bottom. So this steel part here, there is a seal ring between here and then here at the very bottom where the damper rod sticks out, there's another seal ring, and I had those all new. So new crush washer here, new crush washer in there, and I still had a slight seep. So every time I would test with my dry finger, I would find some oil down here. And that kind of got me a little upset and all that. The other side was fine, just this one. And so then I just retorqued it a couple times. This big plug here gets 83 Newton meters, which is quite a bit. If you think about it, this is cast aluminum and this is steel. So, but eventually after testing the torque 2 or 3 times, eventually I got it to the point where it's dry, it's not leaking anymore. The damper rod in there is tiny little one that only gets like 23 Newton meters. You don't want to over torque that because you might strip it or break it, and then, you know, and then you have to take it all apart again. But yeah, so it's dry now. And now I want to make sure that we still have enough oil in here. Thing that we need to do is take the top cap off. The top cap needs to come out, and then we're already ready to go. You need this special tool here. This is made by BMW, chrome vanadium, made in West Germany. That means before 1990. And you need this pin wrench here, this end. Then, of course, you need your favorite fork oil. This one here is a 5-weight oil. I have progressive fork springs in there, and they're a little stiffer than the originals. So I went with a lighter fork oil because I don't want stiff springs with a stiff dampening. So I went with a lighter oil. Then you need a long, thin steel rod. Here in this case, I just went to the hardware store and bought, what is this? 1/8" smooth round, cold rolled steel. Cleaned it up with brake cleaner. I don't want to contaminate my fork oil. And then I use one of those little collars here. This is a drill stop. So you can put those little collars on your drill bits when you're drilling something and you don't want to go past a certain depth. Here's a little wrench there to tighten that up. And as I mentioned, 434 millimeters. I made it 435. So when the tip of this rod touches the oil, I want to be able to see that. And it's really not rocket science. I think if you have a couple of millimeters oil here at the bottom and it's only 430 millimeters from the top, then I think you're still fine. So now I'm going to open both fork tubes up, and then we're going to take a look at it. So now I got it all set up. Here's my rod. The 2 fork tubes are open. The caps really only have like a fiber washer underneath. And if you don't break the fiber washer when you take this cap off, I think you're fine to just reuse it. There's not much oil going to come out anyways. It's just, you know, so if there's any kind of oil splashing going on your ride, that it doesn't come out the top of the fork. But so now let's see if we can dip this in here. Yeah, that's what I thought. My handlebars are kind of in the way. That's great. I love it when a plant doesn't come together. So now I have to pause here again. Take my handlebar loose from the bottom. Tilt it back a little bit so I can have a straight shot into the fork tube. I mean, it's all right, guys. Just a short break. So now handlebars are loose enough so I can turn them back a little bit. Now I can look down into the fork tube. Now we should be able to get our little test stick in there. You know, cables are a little in the way, but I think we can work around it. Already have fork oil on my hand. Lovely. So stick in, and you want to stop at the top of the nut of the fork that goes in there. Pull it out, and see no oil. Oh, that's lovely. So even the side that I thought was filled properly doesn't have the right level of oil in it. And then we stick this one in here and we see oil. Oh, that's lovely. So the side that I was expecting to be low is fine. The side that is supposedly fine is not. That's great. You probably don't want to do that right after a ride. You probably want to let it sit a little bit so the oil kind of settles down. You also want to make sure that your fork is fully extended and the front wheel is not sitting on the ground. So if you have one of those Reynolds right off center stands, you probably want to put it up on a 2x4 or something like that. So you want the fork to completely extend. So now I'm just going to get myself a syringe and then I'm just going to feed some oil in there. And let me grab a syringe real quick. So I guess we're a little low on both sides. And so I'm just going to use my syringe here to cleanly get a little bit of some fork oil in there. If I can. Oh, here we go. Now, of course, the fork oil is going to run down the spring. And when you stick in your test rod, it's probably going to show that you have oil now. You probably want to let this sit a little bit. So I gave it like 15 cc's on each side. You know, and honestly, if it's a little higher, I don't mind it. I don't care. As long as I know that there's oil in there. It doesn't need to be like super perfect, exact. My little syringe with my tube on there, it's just a big 50 cc syringe you can get at some pharmacies. And then I put a piece of tubing. It's a fuel line for a small engine repair. Put that on the end. Okay, now I see a drop hanging off of the end of this rod here. Yeah, now I'm getting something. Yeah, that might be a false indication though, as I mentioned. Now there is oil running down the spring. So we're just going to let it sit here for a little while. Then I'm going to come back and test it one more time. It's also really hard to see. The fork oil is pretty translucent. It's bluish in color, but it is really hard to see. So we're just going to give it a couple minutes. And I'm going to test one more time. So now it has been a few minutes. We're going to test it again. If you have a hard time seeing on your dipstick where your oil level is, because the oil is so translucent, just pull it out, put it on a piece of paper, and then slide it to the side. That kind of gives you a clear indication. So now looks like we're going to be a little high here on my oil, like a little bit. Actually, so I initially stuck it in too far just to see if we actually get a reading at all. Now I'm going to the very top of this hex-shaped plug that goes into the top, and then pull it out, put it on paper, slide it sideways. So we have a couple of millimeters of oil at the very bottom. I'm fine with that. Pull it out, paper, slide, a couple of millimeters. So we're fine on that side. Do the same over here. Oh yeah, very, very tippy. Down there is a little bit of some oil. 433 millimeters maybe. Fresh piece on the paper. Yeah, I think that's fine. So if you are completely dry and then you stick it in and pull it out and you get a little bit of a reading, I think you're fine. So now we just put the caps back on, tighten them up, and then we're done. And now I can happily ride around with knowing that there is actually the proper amount of fork oil in my forks. It was kind of bugging me to no end. You know, it probably doesn't make any difference in the performance of the fork if you have, you know, 5 cc's less or more in there. But it just, I don't know. I'm just like that. Oh yeah, you want to make sure your handlebar is straight. Your forks are in the straight ahead position. Put our BMW made pin wrench on there. Gotta push my cables out of the way here a little bit. If it sounds like we're in the zoo and there's a herd of elephants running around upstairs, that's normal here in my house. My shop is below living space. All right, guys, this is how you can check your fork oil level. Go to Snowbum's webpage. I'll leave a link below in the description so you can find it easier. He has so much information about airheads. It's unreal. Tons of articles that he wrote over the years. Some of them are a little wordy. Shout out to Robert Fleischer if you watch this video. No offense. Wordy but full of information. And you can find test procedures and adjustment procedures and lots of information about airheads and other BMW motorcycles. So this is one of his procedures. I followed it and I'm happy. And you guys take care. Bye.